In an old attic where silence speaks louder than time, a mirror leans quietly, untouched, unseen. Not just glass and frame, but a portal to who we once were and who we might become. They say age fades the face, but sometimes it sharpens the soul. This is the story of one man and the mirror that showed him everything he had forgotten. The mirror in the attic.
There's an old house at the edge of time where silence sleeps in the walls, and a staircase, narrow and half in dust, waits for the courage of footsteps to fall. Each creak tells a secret long ignored, each step a memory waiting to breathe. And at the top, an attic door that holds what lies beneath. No one had climbed it in years gone by, not since he was young and bold. But something whispered in the wind tonight, "You're not just growing old." So he followed the hush, the pull of past, to a room dressed in shadow and flame, where cobwebs weave through childhood toys, and every box had his name. In the corner a mirror leaned, tall, worn, wrapped in time's disguise. But as he gazed, he saw not his now, but the fire in younger eyes.
He blinked, and the attic melted away. The air turned warm, the wood turned new. And there he stood on a summer's day, in shoes he'd long outgrew. A younger self, wild-eyed and free, smiled back with crooked grace. No lines upon his laughing skin, no heaviness on his face. The mirror was no longer glass, it was memory's open door, a chance to ask what he once was before life taught him war. "Why did you stop chasing stars?" the boy inside him asked. "You used to dream with open arms. Now your days are masked." He felt the ache in his wiser chest, not from age, but from forgetting, from trading purpose for routine, from fearing the world's regretting. Yet here was truth, unwrapped in light, not lost, just long delayed. He hadn't aged too far to start, he'd simply been afraid. The boy stepped forward, eyes still wide, but softer now, less bold. He said, "You feared the world too much. You let your fire grow cold. You traded paintbrush for a paycheck and silence for the screen. But all you ever really wanted was to live the life unseen." The man looked down, ashamed and still, at dreams that turned to dust, at years he'd poured into empty cups, in names he could not trust. But the mirror did not mock his pain. It shimmered with a vow. Your purpose isn't buried. It's waiting in the now. Not in what you once could do, but in what you still can be. Purpose is not a younger man's gift. It's the truth that sets you free. His hands began to tremble then, not from age, but from the knowing that life had left the door ajar, and he could still keep going. He turned to speak, but silence fell, as if the attic knew. Some truths are whispered by the soul, when words will never do. The man stood still, a fading shape, his breath a fleeting cloud. All those years of holding back, of not thinking thoughts aloud. He'd swallowed dreams like bitter pills to keep the world impressed. Wore smiles stitched from duty while his heart lay unexpressed. But now the boy inside him spoke, with eyes that pierced the dark. Why live a life that pleases all, but dims your inner spark? Why wait to dance until you're dying? Why paint in shades of gray? Why not become the roaring sea
and wash regret away." The man collapsed into the chair, his spirit aching wide. He saw the life he never lived, just sitting there inside.
And then he whispered, "I still can." A vow beneath his breath. For purpose doesn't die with time. It only sleeps like death.
The older me, he had lines on his face, but light in his eyes. He looked tired, yes, but peaceful. He wasn't rich in money, but rich in stillness. He didn't chase things, he noticed them. He had returned to what the younger me had forgotten. Not things, but truth. And he was waiting for me to choose.
That older version, he leaned forward, as if to speak. No words, just a look that said everything. "I am not guaranteed, but I am possible. Walk slowly, breathe deeply, love truly. You'll find me." And then he was gone. Not lost, just waiting again. I stood there, staring at my own reflection now. Not the boy, not the old man, just me. The one who gets to decide who to carry forward and who to leave behind. Time doesn't ask permission, but it offers mirrors, silent moments, and second chances. And in that attic, I took one. I walked back down those creaking stairs, but something had shifted. I was lighter, like I'd laid something heavy down. An expectation, a regret, a version of me I no longer needed. I wasn't who I used to be, not yet who I will be, but finally okay with who I am. And that was enough.
The attic is quiet now, the mirror covered again, but its memory stays. Sometimes when I pass a window, or a puddle, or a quiet moment, I catch a glimpse, not of my face, but of my path, where I've come from, where I still can go. Aging isn't losing time, it's earning meaning. And purpose isn't found, it's remembered.
And so, the mirror didn't just show his past, it revealed what still lived inside him. Hope, wisdom, and time well remembered. Aging was never about the lines on his face, but the depth of his heart, and the stories still waiting to be lived. The attic? Just a room. But the mirror was a doorway to rediscovering who he truly was. We don't grow old by the years. We grow rich in spirit. And sometimes all it takes is a quiet moment and a mirror in the attic to remind us how full of life we still are.